About a year ago, my wife and I took a 10-day cruise to the Caribbean on the Enchanted Princess. Now, overall, it was a good time, but there were a few disappointments and one huge, amazing surprise. Thanks for watching Backroads Tourist today. I'm Jeff, and I'm excited to tell you about this cruise. At the end of February 2024, we set sail on a cruise that included Princess Cays, St. Thomas, Dominica, St. Lucia, Martinique, and Antigua. Now, we'd never been to that part of the Caribbean before, and we were excited to visit some new places. Honestly, I didn't have high hopes for Princess Cays, which is Princess Cruise Line's private resort, but I was pleasantly surprised. We had a lot of fun there. After considering all of the activities that were available, we decided to go on what I called the inflatable tricycles. It's sort of a misnomer because the wheels are a hard plastic, not inflatable, but the name sounded good, so I still use it. For about an hour, we paddled around and spent some fun time together and just enjoyed being out on the beautiful water in the bay. There were a lot of other activities available too, like snorkeling, fishing, paddleboarding, renting a cabana, or just laying out on the beach. So after paddling around on the bay, we got a drink and had some food, did some people watching and shopping, and then we headed back to the tender, and that took us back to the ship. We got our exercise in, so it was a good day. But the big surprise turned it into an even better day. We had a wonderful dinner. We were in the theater waiting for the show to start, and I decided to check my email. Well, I found an email from our pregnant daughter telling us that, guess what? She wasn't pregnant anymore. The baby had come 3 weeks early. Both mother and son were doing great, but Grandpa here started tearing up a little bit, and when the people around us found out about our news, everybody started congratulating us. So that was our big surprise and really set the mood for a wonderful cruise. The following day was a sea day, and we spent the day exploring the ship and taking some time to visit the casino. Now, normally Princess casinos are pretty good to us, but the Enchanted Princess Casino started off kind of slow, but gradually it got better. That night was formal night. I know that some people love it, some people hate it. Me, I don't mind it. My wife grumbles about it a little bit, but when it's time for dinner, she always looks stunning. So this night, I decided to wear my tuxedo, but I noticed that there were only a handful of other men who were wearing tuxes, so I think that maybe from here on in, I might just stick with a sport coat and tie. The next day was a visit to St. Thomas, and our excursion was riding around the island in a safari-style bus. The driver was doing the narrating on the trip, but the sound system wasn't cooperating. It wasn't very good, and we only understood a fraction of what he was saying. Our first stop was a beautiful overlook that, coincidentally, had a gift shop and bar attached to it. Go figure. I got a pina colada, and my wife got a soft drink. The next stop was Mountaintop. Again, a great view with a really huge, impressive gift shop. They had something for everyone and every budget there. This is also where they say the banana daiquiri was invented, so we couldn't let that opportunity pass us by. We each had to get one. But after a few sips, my wife decided that she didn't care for hers too much, so she gave it to me. So halfway through the excursion, I'd already had 3 drinks, and this was quickly becoming the best excursion ever. Hey, before I do the obligatory plea for you to like and subscribe, I want to explain something. You might notice that I always refer to my wife as my wife. Now, this isn't some sort of possessive, macho thing. She wishes to be behind the scenes and not have her name out there, so I respect her wishes. Now that I've explained that, I'd like to ask you to give this video a like if you're enjoying it, and if you haven't subscribed to the Backroads Tourist channel yet, I'd like to invite you to do so. I have fun on here. I'd love to have you come along. So the day after St. Thomas, we went to Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. In Dominica, we had a rather disappointing excursion. We were supposed to travel to the other side of the island, meet a tribal chief, and we thought visit a cultural center to learn about the indigenous people. Well, the first clue that this wasn't going to be all it was cracked up to be was the fact that there were only 4 people in our entire excursion. A van took us to an agricultural area, and we met a community chief who showed us around the area and pointed out plants that may or may not have had medicinal properties. One kind of cool thing was when he knocked down some coconuts and used a machete to open them up for us. We all got a taste of fresh coconut water. It was pretty good. We also got to take turns pressing sugar water out of sugar cane, and then we walked up to his house and met his wife, who served us some local snacks. But one member of our group had dietary concerns, so she couldn't sample any of them. We were shown pictures of hurricane damage from a few years before and allowed to ask any questions we liked. Then our van driver took us back to the ship. There was no visit to a cultural center, and don't get me wrong, the people couldn't have been nicer, but the excursion itself was a little bit underwhelming. That night we saw a production show in the Princess Theater called Five Skies. The singing, the dancing, the technology were top-notch. But the story just didn't resonate with me. It had a computer game type theme, and personally, I don't think it was the best choice for the older demographic that was on this ship. The casino made up for it, though. After the show, I hit an $800 jackpot, so the day wasn't a total disappointment. The next day was a stop in St. Lucia, the only sovereign country named after a woman. Our excursion of choice today was a whale and dolphin watching cruise. We climbed aboard the boat and set off for the most likely place to see whales. But nobody told the whales that that was the most likely place, though. Yeah, we didn't see any whales at all, but we did see a lot of dolphins, and that was pretty cool. The ride back to the ship was pretty fast and pretty rough. My wife didn't like that too much. They broke out the rum punch and some snacks, and the crew even did some dancing for us. And after we got back, we killed some time doing a little shopping in port before heading back to the ship. I also want to say that our experiences on the Enchanted Princess were all pretty great. Except for the Five Skies show, we enjoyed all of the entertainment and thought the food was terrific. Our room steward and all of the staff we interacted with were fantastic. Our next stop was Martinique, and I was really looking forward to the excursion we had planned for today. It was a bus trip to the town of St. Pierre. In 1902, this town was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Pelée. Approximately 30,000 people were killed that day. There were only 3 survivors of that eruption, and one of them was a prisoner who had been locked in a heavily fortified prison cell. It was amazing and eerie to walk around the ruins and see how the town has built back up around the stone buildings that were still left standing. The next day we had another great excursion. We were in Antigua, and we took a 4.5-hour tour of the island on tuk-tuks. Each tuk-tuk carried 4 people, and we started off in the front seat, and then halfway through we switched with the other couple and moved to the back seat. We stopped off at 3 beautiful beaches and had plenty of time to grab a bite to eat too. Our driver also had an ample supply of rum punch. It seems like rum punch was everywhere on this trip. But the rum punch, it just added to the fun. The weather was beautiful, the water was warm, the company was great. It was a good day, and one of our favorite excursions on this cruise. After our visit to Antigua, we had a sea day. It was another formal night that night, but instead of going to a regular restaurant, we enjoyed the 360 dining experience. The 360 is a wonderful multi-course dinner served in a round room with video screens all around you. It's an immersive, interactive experience, and the food is just absolutely amazing. If you're celebrating something special or you just want to do something different, we'd both recommend the 360. But everywhere we ate, the food was good. We thought that most of the entertainment was great, and the casino played with us and didn't take too much of our money this time. So that's a rundown of our 10-day cruise on the Enchanted Princess. Hope you enjoyed it. For those of you who are fans of our Chihuahua Daisy, here's your daily dose of Daisy. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jeff, and I hope to see you on a future cruise.